guys, hope you guys are all doing well today. I am JC, and the reason for this video is, as I promised in the last video, I would do a quick 5 to 6 minute video just to answer some of you guys' questions that have been asked. So a lot of you have sent me questions on my Facebook and Instagram, and since a lot of the questions are the same, I decided that it would be best for me to put out a short video so that I can answer all of you at once rather than having to answer every single person individually. So I want to make sure that I address your questions and be fair about it. So this was my best way to do that. So these videos will be about 5 to 6 minutes long. So one of the biggest questions I'm being asked is actually just about how to go about writing a book, what the process I went through. So if a lot of you have been thinking, or those of you have been thinking about writing a book, I can tell you what my recommendations are, what worked for me. Now, we're all individuals, we all have a different creative process, but I will do my best to tell you what works for me, and you can decide from there if that process would help you, and just start writing. So the first question, the first thing that I would definitely do if you want to write a book is just start brainstorming ideas. First thing, just brainstorm. Find what you're passionate about, what really lights that fire, and what you're knowledgeable in. I find that if you can be very passionate about a subject and you have some good knowledge in that subject, then the words will flow a lot easier and the writing will be that much better. You'll be able to captivate your audience. So once you start to brainstorm and you have it narrowed down to your ideas as to what you want to write about, the next thing that I recommend, as you see Mr. Buddy over there, you can see Mr. Buddy decided to make his presence known. So here he is. Say hello, Papa. As I was saying, the next step would be to do an outline. So I wrote out an outline. You just put like the beginning, end, middle, and just have it written out with some ideas under each topic. And it'll give you a little bit of a guide as you're writing, so that if you get stuck, you can just look at that and it'll trigger your creative juices so that you can continue the process uninterrupted. And it just makes it flow easier, is what I found. And any ideas that you get, if you have like any random thoughts or anything that you think of randomly, you just write it down in there under whatever section it applies to. And that will help you tremendously throughout the process of writing your book. I found that biggest challenge that a lot of people have is they start to write and then they just abandon it, put it aside or put it away and forget about it for a little bit, or just end up not getting back to it. So when you have that outline in place, it just makes it less likely that you will do that, and you'll be able to complete the project without so many delays. The other thing that I recommend is I like to write with pencil to paper or pen to paper. I find that my creative juices flow a lot easier when I write with paper as opposed to typing it. And for me, the reason for that is when I type, I get very distracted by like the autocorrect and the squigglies, and when it highlights any misspellings. I don't want to worry about that while I'm trying to create. I just want the words to flow and it to just come out raw and not be distracted. What I do now is I ended up I went through researching all different apps and products out there that would help me be able to feel like I'm handwriting it, but it would convert to text, to type. And there's like some notebooks out there that you can get that will, like, you can handwrite on them and then it converts them to type. But what I found that sometimes the process of actually being able to convert your words to type was more cumbersome than actually going in there and typing it yourself. It can be a little glitchy and just not as user-friendly, which is frustrating. So again, it would delay the process. Now recently, Apple has done an update to their notepad, and this is going to sound like a little commercial promo for Apple, but it's not. It's just my personal opinion and my personal experience with it. So Apple updated their notepad app, and I love it, love it, love it. I wish I had this from the beginning. It would have made writing so much faster, and it's actually how I'm able to write all new stories every single week for the channel, because I can handwrite it on the Apple application, the notepad application. And so what I did is I went out and I purchased myself, even though I have a larger iPad, it's cumbersome, it's heavy, and I don't like carrying it around because I've cracked a screen a few times. I've had to get that fixed. So I ended up buying myself a small mini iPad, and it's so much easier to use. I got the 2nd generation Apple Pencil with it, and it's just like a little magnet. That's how it charges and activates. It's perfect. It makes it so much easier. This thing is really, really light, and it's not as expensive as the larger iPad. So if you accidentally drop it or crack the screen, it's not going to break the budget to get it fixed. And so what I do on here is I go into the Notepad app, and I type, just handwrite on there, just like a notepad. So I purchased the screen cover on here is a paper-like screen cover, and so when you're writing, it feels good. It feels like you're is as close to writing on paper as you can get with an electronic device. And it's been extremely helpful. So after I handwrite on here, I get to a point where I'm stopping. I highlight it, and then after you highlight it, you click convert to text, and then you pop it right into your whatever Word application that you're using. I use Pages. I prefer Apple products for anything creative. I find that they're just more user-friendly, and they work better for creative projects than using other applications out there. So, and once you pop it into that application or whatever it is that you're using, you can just go in and do some minor editing, and it saves you a ton of time. Each week I'm able to write all those stories, and I pop it into the Pages application, and then from there it goes into the teleprompter, and that's it. It's so much easier, so much faster. It saves me a ton of time. My recommendation to you, definitely, number 1 is brainstorm. Number 2, create an outline. And then number 3, get yourself a little mini iPad and use the notebook app if you're not a strong typer, or if you're anything like me and get distracted by the squigglies and whatnot. It'll help you be able to write and not disrupt the flow as often. Will definitely recommend is before you send it out to anybody, make sure you get a copyright. You can go online. I used Trademark Engine to copyright my work before I let anybody look at it. So I went on Trademark Engine, I filled out a form online, everything was online, and then I sent in, I paid a fee, and then a few weeks later I got my copyright in the mail, and that protects your work. So before you send it to an editor, before you send it to a publisher, anything, just make sure that you protect your work prior to sharing it with anyone. Very important. So that was the other thing that I did. So that's going to do it for this video. I'm going to, each week do a quick video just to answer some of your questions. And if you have questions on what I just told you, I will clarify them as well. The next video is going to be a little bit more about the publishing process and how it went for me, what I experienced, how I found a publisher, and all that good information that I can give you. So I'm going to say goodbye for today, and don't forget on Friday there's going to be a new video. It's going to be Lennox and Carlita and telling you the story, a whole new storyline. So look forward to that, and until then, have a great ending to your week, and God bless.